Before I got pregnant for the first time, I had a lot of opinions that proved to be so wrong when I actually experienced pregnancy in my body. And the group of poses that we're going to talk about today is one of those things I got really wrong. I'll tell you why in a moment. Hi, and welcome to my channel, or your channel, actually. I'm so glad that you're here. If this is your first time, my name is Erica. I am a prenatal yoga teacher, a postnatal yoga teacher, and I gear all of my classes toward moms from the very beginning of pregnancy and everything that comes after. If you feel like you could use a little bit more mindfulness and yoga to help calm the crazies, I hope that you'll take a moment to hit subscribe, click on that little bell so you'll be notified of all of my upcoming videos. Today we are talking about standing balancing poses. So poses like tree pose, half moon pose, and warrior three, where you are standing on one foot and doing your best to not fall over. Is that a good thing to do while you're pregnant? So if you had asked me that before I had ever been pregnant, I would have said, why would you want to do that? Absolutely not. But having come from a place of having two babies and practicing yoga throughout both of those pregnancies, I have a little bit of a different opinion now. So first of all, let's talk about some pros and some cons of standing balancing poses when you are pregnant. Okay, pro number one, it gives you the opportunity to really start to understand the way that your balance is shifting as your baby is growing, as you're gaining weight, as things are changing so rapidly in your body. Taking the time to stand on one foot and really get to know your newfound balance, where it is, how you can shift it, how you need to change your posture, can be super helpful, even just in things like walking from one task to another. Pro number two is it's just good for your body, right? It strengthens your legs. It, again, helps you to understand your alignment and your posture. And you need to integrate your whole body to often keep yourself upright in those challenging positions. This is even more important during pregnancy because, if you're not paying attention, you can feel all out of sorts really quickly because you're changing and growing so quickly. And then the last pro, I think, is actually, I think there's two more pros. It's the emotional and the mental piece of it. So for me, I really enjoyed being able to do something that was tricky and hard and the same sort of practice that I was doing previously to getting pregnant, because people are so nice to pregnant people, right? They follow you, they open doors, they offer to carry your groceries, they get up and move out of the way and offer you your seat. And that is so nice and it is so appreciated. But sometimes it left me feeling like people didn't think I could do anything for myself. So coming back to my yoga mat and practicing these poses that are not easy really helped me to feel more confident and more capable and more like the grown, strong woman that I was and that I am and that you are too. And last but not least, have you ever heard of pregnancy brain? It's this phenomenon that is pretty well documented, where we feel a little scattered or forgetful when you're pregnant. This is actually something that, in my experience, continues as you have a baby and continue to have older children, just because there's so much on your mind, really. Balancing poses take so much focus and concentration. It is like just the best thing that you can do to give yourself some practice. Everything else goes away. All I have to do right now is figure out how to stand on this one foot and not fall over. So it's training for life. And it really helped me to feel more clear and focused in my mind. Now, of course, there are some cons as well with practicing these poses during pregnancy. Con number one is the biggest one and probably the most compelling reason to maybe skip these poses during pregnancy. It's that you could fall, right? As I've mentioned, your center of gravity is changing daily, so it's really difficult to figure out where it is and to feel steady. And falling when you're pregnant is bad. You could not only hurt yourself, but you could hurt your baby too. So that's all the more reason to exercise extreme caution in everything that you do. The second con is just, the same thing that I keep mentioning. It's a little harder. It's harder to balance when you are shifting and changing so much every single day. And some moms might just be like, nah, not for me right now. Completely valid. So I think that it's up to moms to make that decision for themselves, whether they feel comfortable with practicing these postures or not as they get further into their pregnancies. But if you are someone who is like, yep, I'm gonna do it, I love these poses, I loved them before, they make me feel strong and capable and amazing, there are some things that you should keep in mind when you take to your yoga mat to do this kind of practice. So let's talk about some ways to keep you safe as you practice standing balance poses during your pregnancy. Strategy number one is you don't have to go all the way into the pose. Let's think about tree pose first. It's one of the most popular poses. You don't have to lift your leg all the way up to your inner thigh and do the pose in this way. Instead, you can keep your toes on the floor. You can bring your heel to your inner ankle and still get all the benefits of a little bit of balance without maybe the risk or the issues that could come with the pose. So same thing for poses like, let's say, Warrior 3. Maybe instead of coming into the full version of the pose, which looks kind of like this, you keep those back toes on the floor and you come forward in a way that doesn't squish the baby and you practice it here, right? Perfect modification. The second piece of advice I would give you is to use props. In this case, I'm not just talking about the blocks that can help you to lift the floor just a little bit closer to you for your fingers. I'm talking about use a couch, use a wall, stabilize yourself against something that is sturdy and that will keep you upright. For half moon pose, think about you can lean your entire weight on a wall. I'm using a couch because I don't have a wall close to me, but a couch works too. And you can come into the pose and actually imagine there's a wall. Your whole body can rest into the wall. Even your top hand can go into the wall and it can feel so good and so stable and so supported. And again, you're still getting all of the same benefits of the pose if you weren't using the wall. Last but not least, ask for help. So a yoga teacher, especially a prenatal yoga teacher, would be more than happy to help support you, whether it's holding your lifted leg or your lifted foot. Ask a partner. That actually could be a really lovely way for you to bond before a baby comes. And then last but not least, when you start to feel unsafe for any reason, doing standing balancing poses or any other pose while you're pregnant, listen to your intuition and be okay with being like, this just doesn't feel good anymore. Can't really put my finger on why, but something tells me I'm done with this. If there's a voice that's telling you that, be done with it. Totally fine. You'll have lots of time to pick it back up again after your baby is born. Thank you so much for watching, and I am so excited to share more yoga with you again next week. If this was helpful to you, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you back here again next week. Namaste.